Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. A very common question that I get asked all the time, can't stress this enough, is people want to know, do I grab a double eagle Ghetto blaster or do I grab a Salvo Precision MCX? Now, the Ghetto blaster is available in two lengths, a short and a slightly longer handguard, and you get it in multiple colours. The Salvos, you get it in the Virtus, the Rattler, the Spear LT, I think in two different rail lengths, and of course the CSAW. Now, it isn't quite as simple as just picking one or the other. One thing you need to ask yourself to begin with is, which do you prefer the look of? What aesthetics are appealing to you? That is probably the most important thing between these two models, and I'll get to why in a moment. But do you like the functionality and short, compact version of the Ghetto Blaster? Now, you can get the Rattler from the Salvo, so if you wanted a smaller model, you can get that. But, you know, is the MCX for you or is the Noveske for you? So if you can decide that, you might say, well, I was thinking about the two, but I prefer the look of the Noveske. 100%, you're not going to go wrong with picking the Ghetto Blaster. You know, flip side, I'm looking between the two, but, you know, the Salvo, the MCXs are like the new sexy thing to have. I'm sort of leaning towards that, then go in that direction. But the point of this video today is to put through as many of the differences as I can and what might sway you one side or the other. So in all intensive purposes, it's an MWS based gas blowback. They both perform really well. Barrel, hop rubbers, and, you know, hop components, all pretty much the same. Magazines accept the same. They'll accept the same grips. You'll see I've got the Dai-Frico Kung Fu on both of these because they are my personal rifles. The only reason I went for the Virtus, as I've said in many videos before, is because it was the only MCX model that I didn't really have. So barrel and hop components, fine. There's slight differences in barrel length, but, you know, in the grand scheme of things, this much extra barrel length is going to, you know, give you no real advantage. The only thing you're probably going to get is you're going to find it easier to get up to a certain power. So if you're not in the UK, if you're in the US or Europe and you have slightly higher FPS limits, then a longer barrel length is going to make it a little bit easier for you. But usually with these models, you tend to find that you have to reduce them slightly. So end passes and stuff like that. So barrel length, really, in terms of range and accuracy, it's irrelevant. I've done so much testing on the MWS platform. I've had MWSs with literally like a 4-inch barrel, and they've performed just as good as rifles with, you know, a 10.5-inch barrel. So you can set them up the same, you can get the power the same. Don't go for it if you want literally barrel performance. All that is pretty much identical. So there are differences in how you pull the barrels out, but, you know, functionality wise, not much difference there at all. So what brings it to you next is, and the most important thing, do you want something that you can fold down? Now, if you wanted to go for like the MCX, now they have a rail section at the back here, which you put these folding stocks, which I think I remember this one being a little bit tight. So you can take a long gun and you can fold it down, making it a bit shorter. Because you have a folder and because you have the short bolts in the MCX, you don't need any real estate at the back here to accommodate the bolt. Now with the Ghetto blasters, it's more similar to like a normal M4 AR-15 platform. You do have a stock tube, but it's very small at the back here, so it's a shortened system. But you have a normal spec and size bolt in here like you would have in any MWS. The stock, you can't fold it, but you can shorten it down. And you can see here that the Ghetto blaster, if I put this in shot, with the stock fully collapsed, is still ever so slightly shorter than the MCX with, like, if you had the stock folded. So if compactness is what you want, you would go for the Ghetto blaster or maybe the Rattler if you're sold on the MCX. So maybe you're looking at this video and you're going, right, well, I like them both. I don't really know which one to pick. I like them equally as much. How do I make the next step of my decision? So the most important thing that I probably want to say about these two rifles is blowback strength. A lot of people call it refer to it as recoil. You don't really get recoil with airsoft guns. You can increase the weight of the bolts, everything, to simulate recoil, but it's the same thing. Whether I refer to it as blowback action or recoil, I'm talking about the same thing. So the blowback action, you will have a much heavier blowback action on something that has a normal style MWS bolt. And the reason for that is, I'm going to demonstrate this to you now. You have a regular bolt in the Ghetto Blaster, so we can pull this out. It's compatible with MWS bolts, and you'll see this one's got a weighted section on the back here, but chopping and changing, easy as anything. Now with the MCXs, it's a little bit, not, what's the word I'm looking for here? It doesn't make it any more difficult for you. Now, if you were trying to fit aftermarket bolts, yes, it will. But you have a shortened bolt. Now, what this means is you have much less mass moving to the rear. Now, you also have to think of, with the Ghetto Blaster, normal MWS style design, shall we call it. I'm probably going to get a lot of phrases wrong here, but hopefully I'll get the point across. Your spring is behind the bolt, much like a normal MWS. It's a very shortened down system, but the concept is still the same. With the MCXs, you have these guide rods on the top here, and your recoil spring is on the top, and you have a pair of them. Both pretty much do the same thing, but because you have this shortened bolt, the amount of mass being moved is heavily reduced. So the blowback action you get from the MCX series is a lot less compared to the Ghetto Blaster. So you're looking at this video, you're going, right, well, I can get them both performing exactly the same. One has more recoil than the other. I should go for the Ghetto Blaster. Now, again, you might be looking at the opposite, end of the spectrum and saying, well, I'm not bothered about recoil. What I want my gun to be really snappy, which the MCXs are. They're extremely snappy, really quick on the trigger, quick on the rate of fire. And you can do that with the Ghetto Blasters. As any MWSs, you can fit lighter weight components. You can avoid going for the heavy recoil buffer for the Ghetto Blaster that we recently released and just keep the plastic one. And then you can actually get plastic rear ends as well to lighten that up. You can also get lightweight and heavyweight bolts. It's just a little bit more versatile as a system. So I'm going to pop this back in here. Aftermarket parts, off the shelf, the Ghetto Blaster is going to be a little bit more friendly to that than the MCX. Now, these Salvo MCXs are still pretty new. I am working on something. I don't really want to say too much at the moment, but I am working on something to increase the recoil in these salvos, but that's not going to be a quick thing. So we can pop this back in here. So you have more versatility with the Ghetto Blaster, and that pin was really tight before, wasn't it? And now it's just loosened up. It's like shooting it, just like sort of settles the gun a little bit. So we're going to do a quick couple of rounds here so you can see it. So we've got semi-auto first. You do get a bit of, a bit of punch, but not much. And it's quick on the rate of fire. With the Ghetto Blaster, now I'm running both of these on propane. You do have a slightly reduced selector for semi. Now auto, you still have to go all the way around, but the safe to semi is like, I want to call it like a 60 degree. So getting off safe onto semi and vice versa is a lot faster, a little bit easier. Now this does have the Jaeger recoil buffer and the blowback weight, which is the stainless one, so it's heavy, but it just goes to show how much more of a blowback effect that has. So if you're not bothered by, it's still snappy. Oh, it's just not quite as responsive as the MCX. So why would you care about this? If you're not into realism, if you're not into, you know, recoil or simulated recoil or blowback, maybe you're doing a lot of CQB and you just want to be really fast on that semi-auto. Maybe your site doesn't allow auto and you need to be a bit quicker. So it's tit for tat with these. One has strengths where the other one has weaknesses, and then the one that has the weaknesses has strengths in other areas where the other has weaknesses. So I'm struggling here to put the right words in. But what I'll do is I'll fill a couple of mags up. I'll flip the camera around so you can see me shooting it, and then hopefully that helps you a little bit more, and we'll be back on camera in just a moment. Right, we're going to do the Noveski Ghetto Blaster first. You're going to have to ignore what I'm going to put over my eyes because I cannot find my shooting glasses. So we're going to go with these very trendy. It's literally just to stop any bounce back coming out of the box. We're going to go for these very trendy green shades, which I use for the laser. So the first mag, and I've got the mic on me, so hopefully this doesn't overload you with the sound. First mag is the mag that comes with it, which is the double eagle mag. It's just propane. I think this is like 2.5, just because it doesn't really matter how many shoot into a box. But hopefully you'll get an idea for how the thing shoots. So here we go. Let's get it a little bit higher so you can see it. We do a burst of auto. So standard D mag, and this thing does. Now I've got these parts in, and guys, I just want to like thank you, because the last video I put up where I was talking about the buffer and the recoil weight, the website just went crazy. Like honestly, I'm spending 4 hours an evening just packing parcels to send out to you lot. So thank you very much. The second mag we're going to test is a Tokyo Marui MWS mag. Again, put on these stupid glasses. And what I also love is the blasters as well as the MCXs. In fact, the Vertus won't come with it. If you get this spear that's not the CSAW, you'll get an ambi-bolt release. But what I love about the Noveski Ghetto Blaster is I haven't got to go down with the bolt release, which is one of the things that I'm not a fan of with the SIGs. I don't have to try and get this and go down. I just have to push it in. And here we go. We'll try and get this in shot for you. You got to remember, this is not going to be the hardest kicking MWS out there. It's a shortened blowback, shortened buffer system. So we're trying to get the best out of a small situation, but I think this thing rocks. We have had, I think, a double feed. We're okay. I think it just fed 2 rounds up instead of 1. So we'll try and carry on. Let's do it again. So it's double feeding on this MWS mag. It could be the mag. I did see a round shoot back as it fed. So we're just going to make sure we don't have any BBs where we're not meant to have them. There we go. It's the first time I've ever had any type of feeding with this. But it didn't happen on the DE mag, it's only happening on this MWS mag. Right. There we go. I'm going to put this mag to one side. Whenever you've got any kind of funkiness going on with your gas blowbacks, just isolate the magazine. So yeah, there's the Ghetto Blaster, and now we're going to swap over to the Salvo MCX. So, Salvo MCX time. This is the Virtus, so it doesn't have the ambi bolt release. But the first mag is a mag that came with it, so it's the Salvo mag. And we're going to give this a shoot now. So you're going to see how much faster the cycle rate is on this, even on just semi. So try and get it in shot for you. So you see, on the Salvo mag, did absolutely fine. Let's see if we had any issues with this MWS mag. Now, the Ghetto Blaster is running the standard nozzle that come with it. I did, in my original N4, break the nozzle trying it with a drum mag, and then I ended up just putting in a Guns Modifier one, and that gun was sweet ever since. So if that nozzle does play up and it is the nozzle, we'll just put a Guns Modifier one in there and it will be problem solved. So Tokyo Marui MWS mag, and we'll see how we do. So and we're getting the same thing. I'm wondering if it could be the BB weight. So I have switched to a lower weight BB, and it could be they're just feeding up a little bit too quick. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I've got some 0.3s. We're going to take that mag that I isolated. We're going to switch to a 0.3 instead of, I think it was a 2.5 in the Ghetto Blaster. And we'll see if we get the same thing. I haven't regassed it, so just be aware. These magazines that I've been showing you today, each one I've gassed up a couple of times because I've shot this a couple of times, but any type of sort of spitting or anything like that, the magazines are just cold. Usually in a warm environment, nice warm mag, they just run absolutely perfectly. So let's see how we do. So that, all I've done, it's the same mag, all I've done is switch the ammo. So I've gone from a 2.5 up to a 3. I think the 2.5s might have just been throwing them out a bit too quick. Weird that, isn't it? Because I normally use 3s in everything that I do. Every test you see on the bench, I'm always using a 0.3. It's the sort of the standard of, this is the cheapest, this is the cheapest, this is the lowest weight that I normally use. And I go to something that I don't normally use, and we have issues, and all of these are Jeff's BBs, so they're good branded BBs as well. So there you have it. We'll get back to the camera. We'll close this video because it's probably getting a bit long. They just look great, don't they? It looks great with that sort of kung fu grip as well. This Ghetto Blaster, even with a stock fully extended, which I'd probably never run it like that, I'd have it just one click out. It's just so compact. And the Virtus, now the Virtus is an older MCX model. So you can tell by picking them both up straight away, the handguard's bigger, the gun's longer. We don't have any, that's probably a good point actually. We don't have any adjustment on this stock, like the Ghetto Blaster. This is it. You fire it as it is. And this stock always gets bound up for some reason. But you can fold it and have it very short. So there you go. And it's still a great looking rifle. Now MCXs, you guys know, if you're followers of the channel for some time, you know that I love my CSAW. You can see it's probably kitted out a hell of a lot more than those two, but again, the CSAW does not have an ambi bolt release, which I do miss. Now I haven't gone kung fu on this yet, but I think I'm just used to picking this rifle up with a K2 Plus, and you know, with this stock, this is the VFC stock, I can extend it, I can still fold it. So there are options, you know, if you've got the MCX Salvo and you want to switch, I do recommend these VFC stocks, they're very good. When they're seated, they don't move. You've got the plastic bit that moves on the slider, and again, it's just like on a regular Defence copy riser. But the spear, you can tell going from a Virtus to a spear just how much more advanced it is. It just makes more sense. But you know, it is a much newer version of the MCX from SIG. So let's get on the bench. We'll close it out. It's probably going to be a stupid long video, which I didn't intend it to be. And yeah, bench James coming right up. So yeah, they're both very good choices. Why would you buy one of these over a bog standard Tokimori MWS? Price. Tokimori MWSs are creeping up in price. You're also getting something that Tokimori just does not offer at the moment. Now, with Tokimori, you can get the M4A1s, you can get the CQBs, you can get Mark 18s, you can get the URGIs, you can get the MTR 16. So an M4 platform, they do have variants. But, you know, something to be said, especially with MCXs being so hot right now, it's just the gun that everybody wants. That being said, I really do love the Ghetto Blaster. There's just something about it. I think with the Ghetto Blaster, just from my personal opinion, I do believe that if it didn't have this and it had a normal M-LOK rail under the bottom, much like the N4s, I'd probably prefer it or enjoy it even more. It's just, this is something that's on the real counterpart, so it's not something that, you know, Double Eagle have got wrong. It's just, in this day and age, I would have just loved for this to be, you know, sort of flatted off like that with some M-LOK slots. But that being said, you can still get plenty of accessories that go straight onto rails. I just think it would have made it a little bit more sleek, and attaching stuff like tiger claws and stuff. I can't really do that unless I, you know, MacGyver something out of some long screws. And there are customers of mine that have done that. They've modified the screws on this and managed to get it on there. I just don't think with the rails it's going to be as comfortable, because I hold the tiger claws like this. I sort of set my hand and pull towards my shoulder with it. So either one you want to go for, you're not going to get something bad. I get asked this question a lot, and people want to know why in a comment section. It's something that you can't really explain in words, otherwise I'd be typing forever and people aren't really going to get the gist maybe of the opinion and the emotion in my response. So I love both of them. I love the MWS platform. It has, you know, its strengths and weaknesses in different areas. I think if you just want a good, cheaper alternative that looks nice to the MWS, the Ghetto Blaster is, I mean, the N4 was good. And people always ask me, well, why do you say that the Ghetto Blaster is better than the N4? And I can't really put it into words. It just feels more refined to the N4. It's just the whole package of it, just to me, is so much better. It's giving you more to pull you away from a normal M4A1 or you know, any derivatives, and into something that's very modern styling. You know, plenty of M-LOK space and rail space on there. I love this PDW stock. I do wish that at full extension it was a little bit more sturdy, but that's just an airsoft thing. To be honest with you, I'd probably only pull it out one click anyway, or run it like this to be nice and agile in sort of closer environments. I just very much prefer it to the N4. It's not to say the N4 is bad. I did sell my other N4 to Ollie in the Discord, and I'm pretty sure he loved it. And I have, through a weird turn of events, managed to get another N4, which I'll just quickly show you, which was the CGS system. And it's the N4, like, ignore what this is, just pay attention to the Noveski-ness of it. But you see how much better this handguard is without that rail on the bottom. It's just much more sleeker. So it's just a little bit more quirkiness, which is what I very much enjoy in a lot of my builds. So I hope I've helped you in your decision. Honestly, best bit of advice I can give you if you're sort of trying to determine between one of these and one of the MCX models, What do you like the most? What aesthetically pleases you the most? And go from there, because you're not going to make a bad decision either or. Hopefully I've helped you today. If I haven't, I don't know what else I can say, but if I have helped you making a decision, let me know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way up to 20,000. Can we hit, I don't know, 25, 30,000 before the end of the year? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? And stick around, get involved in the Jaeger Precision community with a Discord link provided to you in the description below. Thanks very much for watching, especially if you watched it all the way to the end. It really helps with the algorithm. But from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.